Why is learning about the history of liturgical music important?
So, beginning in the 1960s and leading well through the 1990s, there was this era we call the worship wars. And it existed in a variety of different denominations, evangelical groups, Episcopal groups, Presbyterians got in on it, everyone got in on it. And there was this tendency, or there is this tendency, even within the scholarship, to treat it as if it's unique, as if there's never been another time in the history of the church where people disagreed over the kind of worship music that was appropriate. If you study the history of worship music, it's pretty much the only thing we do is fight over it. Organs were considered large satanic billowing machines. No one wanted an organ in the sanctuary for the longest time. Singing in parts was considered to be too erotic for Christians to do, for Christians to participate in. Singing in the vernacular was problematic for a long time. So we sang in Latin, right? This is just in the West. In the East, the Christian East, they had their own problems. And you still see it now, especially among immigrant groups in the United States. The Greek Orthodox are perhaps the most progressive. They actually have organs in their churches, whereas other Orthodox groups do not have organs in their churches because the organ is a Western thing and pollutes the liturgy. So while we might think of the worship wars as something around electrified music or rock music versus classical music or whatever, like we have our own versions of that. The truth is we've been battling this stuff out for a long time. There are even Christian traditions that got rid of music because it was just too dangerous. It was too volatile a symbol. The Stone Campbell traditions in the United States are great examples of that. Early Quakers, not only no speaking, but specifically no music because the symbol was too potent and too uncontrollable. You couldn't guarantee what people were going to get out of it. So today we've got certain ways we listen to music in our culture. As individuals, listening to podcasts, listening to our headphones. Some of us still listen to iPods. Some of us are just streaming music and we couldn't even tell you who the artists are. Others of us insist on everything being on vinyl. We have all these ways that we're encountering music and we're bringing those aesthetics into the liturgy and trying to find ways as church musicians to reach people who listen to music in a variety of ways is actually incredibly challenging. So I think it's absolutely something we need to be talking about because the way we consume music in this culture, and I use that word on purpose, consume music in this culture, has changed dramatically in the last 20 years. And churches are still putting out choirs with an organ accompaniment and wondering why they can't grab the imaginations of worshipers.